My name is Tarun Pandey, and I'm a partner in ZS. And like most of us here, most of my time goes in helping our clients in the healthcare industry take their ideas to the end patients through better marketing, through better sales, and other channels. So that's my main role. But at the same time, I also have a role to help our organization think of innovation in a more structured and better way. And for us, innovation, spreads across the spectrum from the real big bets that could be something big for our organization 3 to 5 years down the line, where we have to dedicate more budgets and more people and more focus to work on them. And at the other end, it's what we call grassroots innovation, where all of our thousands of employees working in their day-to-day projects can come up with something cool or new or different in how they're doing their work. So, in that spectrum, there are many ways in which we can encourage and help our people do the same thing better. So that's the other part of my role, which is our own internal innovation engine, is something that I'm trying to help with or in collaboration with some other colleagues. So the whole experience of mentoring the shortlisted team was very rewarding because what I saw was a very viable idea which relates to healthcare, an area that ZS is passionate about. But at the same time, I saw definitely areas where I could help the team. And most of them relate to how to commercialize this idea or take it to market, which is actually what ZS is all about. We help clients in different industries, but a lot more in healthcare. Think of ways to take their products or services to patients and end consumers in the most effective way. And this is the same set of themes which I was able to apply when it came to mentoring my team for the ZS Prize. It was also very rewarding and fulfilling to see their passion, to see their interest, and to see the drive with which they really wanted to help patients in their specific therapy, and also the fact that they've actually gone through the whole grind of design thinking about the idea, creating many prototypes, testing it out. So when it came to the product and its feasibility, I felt they were there. But of course, there were elements of the whole ecosystem of providers, of healthcare workers, of the insurance organizations, where I felt that we could have some good conversations and I could get them thinking about it so that it's not just the product that they're pivoting on, but it's also a lot about the go-to-market ecosystem. So there are some aspects of the team that I do want to highlight. One is that they come from different disciplines. So one is a designer, the other is more passionate about the social sector. There's an engineering capability in the team. So it's a brilliant combination of different skills and disciplines. I think the other is there are personal stories of these people who have actually struggled in the area that they want to create this innovation. They have personal stories in terms of their relatives and family members who have suffered because of the lack of healthcare in that specific idea, which drives them even more to take their innovation to market. So that's one element. I think the other element is definitely that there's a lot of awareness and realization that they have to be very frugal in the way they run their current startup. So it's just a four-member team. They're um, very tight on operation budget. They're very wise on how they spend whatever resources they have, which also, of course, gives me a lot of hope that teams like these, I'm hoping there are many other teams who operate in a similar fashion, that teams like these would benefit a lot and gain a lot by the ZS prize, and not just because of the advice that ZS can give on product or idea commercialization, but also the platform that the Times Group can give in terms of uh, building awareness in the whole ecosystem for these people. So that really lowers the barriers for them to take their idea to market. But again, coming back to the team, extremely passionate, extremely driven, and of course, totally obsessed with their idea, which is why we feel that platforms like the ZS Prize, where you have people who can challenge them to think of other aspects besides their idea, is super critical and super helpful. So, as far as I know, the team I'm mentoring, as well as the other teams in ZS Prize, they actually have very, very viable ideas. We also know that healthcare as a sector in India, of course, is in the need for a lot of new frugal innovations or new ideas, so that we can take care right down to the masses, people living in rural sectors. So there's a lot of an unmet need in India, and this could, vary from the spectrum of mm, uh, streamlining the delivery of care to creating something cool and innovative to do the same thing cheaper, better, faster. And in between the spectrum, it could be many, many other possibilities. So the point is that the ideas are there, the feasibility is also there, because as far as I'm aware, most of them have actually come up with functional prototypes. In fact, they've even iterated on them. So our job in ZS Prize is to make sure that we then lower the barriers to the last mile, which is how do we get these teams to think about taking their ideas to the end consumer or the patients or different people in the healthcare ecosystem in India as effectively and as quickly as possible. That's the key intent, because going through the thousands of entries that came our way through the ZS Prize and right down to the few finalists that we have, I think the one doubt that we had initially on the quality and viability of ideas was absolutely not a concern when we saw the quality of submissions. So brilliant ideas, very feasible, but I think the key test is how do we help them streamline their thinking to be able to take it to the end consumer or the patient in the most effective way. So if we are able to do that, if we are able to provide that platform, then I'm very optimistic that the ZS Prize is going to make a huge impact to the healthcare ecosystem in India. So there are many ways in which a platform like the ZS Prize can do a lot of good for greater numbers in India. And the first one is to channelize our collective energy of our students, young professionals, startups in the area of healthcare. So one thing where we don't have any doubt is the smartness or the talent that resides in our people. But one thing we do doubt is the ecosystem conducive enough for them to get excited about doing something in healthcare? And so one big area is to make sure that simply the awareness about a platform like ZS Prize is spread all over, so that people from students to professionals get excited about doing something in the healthcare sector. That itself is a force multiplier. Now, the second is, of course, there's this huge gap between idea to execution. And we felt, because of the kind of work we do in ZS, which is helping our clients develop cool ideas, mostly in the area of healthcare, and then helping them take it to market. And that could have elements of marketing, customer selection, channel partner selection. It could have elements of sales, designing a sales organization, incentivizing the salespeople and other players in the ecosystem uh, to make that exchange of value happen. Right down to execution elements like performance indicators and metrics and so on and so forth. So there's a huge bridge between the idea and taking that idea to market, and that's where we feel that we can also play a big role. We can play a big role in educating different teams that innovation is 20 to 50% or whatever you guys feel. It's a fraction of innovation is about the idea. A lot of it is about the hustle and the discipline and the passion to uh, reinvent and pivot around different elements of the idea and shape it in such a way that it finds its way to the end patient.